Hello, my name is Victoria. Um, I thought I would make one more video tonight about relationships. I just thought this would be an awesome topic because we all deal with relationships through friends, through family, our husbands, wives, relationship with our children, relationships with friends, relationships we deal with every day. So I thought this would be a good topic to talk about, but this time it'd be more into like two couples though, instead of just like the whole work or everything else. I want to try to stick it to just two couples that are together. Maybe they're married, maybe they're looking forward to getting married, um, and they're not married yet, and they think they found their spouse. This is the kind of topic I want to talk about. And how to, if you're married, if you're not, um, how to how to try to keep healthy marriage or a healthy relationship or togetherness, kind of like I don't. But well, here we go. Like you said, my voice is still squeaky, but sadly, most people today have lost the value of marriage. But to me, marriage is important. Maybe it's because it's part of my faith. I know it's God's will that we are to be married when you love somebody, but the world don't see it that way, I guess. But this topic will still help in relationships, hopefully. Well, to keep a relationship, you have to know that you have the right person first. And sometimes that's a difficult thing because at first we got to know what we want in a person. What kind of person do you want to spend the rest of your life with? The What's his personality like or her personality like? Are they selfish? Are they giving? Are they motivated or are they lazy? Um, do they have a job or do they not? Um, Things like that, some people think about those things because when it comes to the job part, people do want security in a marriage. They want to know they could support each other, and they could support the household together. And if they already have kids, or if they're looking forward to eventually having kids, they can support a whole household more than just themselves. And you have to think about, what are their goals? You know, what do they want in life? Are they a good person? Are they willing to accept differences between two people? Especially if you're coming from two different worlds, you're coming from two different customs, two different backgrounds. Sometimes you're coming from the same background and still totally different, you know? Maybe you're opposites, or sometimes you might have something different, some differences, but a lot in common. It varies, but you have to think about those things first. What do I want in a person? What do I value? Will they love me? Will they accept me for me? Because eventually, we don't stay young. Each of us don't stay young. We will get older. There's certain things that, um, certain, personalities we might get annoyed with here and there. But can we cope with it? Are we willing to um, manage and say, I love you, and just accept, because each of us are two imperfect human beings, and you get two people that are two imperfect human beings together. They have to learn to cope with each other's different personalities, different ways. And sometimes there's going to be some beautiful things that you love about them. And then there's going to be some personality traits you're going to be like, oh man, really? It might get a little annoying. But you have to accept the whole person. You have to just, you know, some people are different than another person. But you have to accept, is this the kind of person I want for the rest of my life? Is this the kind of person I want to have children with? Is this the kind of person I want to teamwork with, to make a life with? So those are the kind of things that you have to really think about when you're thinking about relationships with two people. Like commitment. Are you willing to stay faithful to that person? Especially when you ask somebody to marry you. Some people are even faithful even before marriage. Hopefully most, but sadly not. But in but when you love somebody and you want something to work, you know, and your mind is being committed on this person, this one single person that you want to spend your life with, you have to know that you're committed. You want to be committed to this person. You want this person for life. Because if you're not committed, when fights come up, when certain like topics come up that you don't want to talk about, or you feel like someone's being too pushy because they, you know, if you're not committed, of course, eventually it's not going to work. Eventually you're going to want to choose something different because a relationship is hard. Relationships are never easy. No matter what, it's something you have to keep working at. You just have to keep working and working together, especially if you want this person for life. You have to stay and work as a team. Stay committed. And when things get tough and you have that commitment in your mind that this is the person I want, where you're going to learn to work it out. You're going to want to work it out. You're going to want to talk about it and try to, solution the problem. But when you're not committed, you don't want to work at it. You don't want to stay with that commitment. You don't want to, you want to move on to something different because um, it's tough. And then you realize the next relationship is going to be the same. So no matter how, you got to work at it. A commitment is something that you work at. You work at together as a team. And especially if you love that person. And this is the person that you want for life. You're willing to put aside your differences. You're willing to communicate together so you can solution a problem. You're willing to put aside time to say, what are we doing? You know, I think we're being foolish. We need to talk about this. And then come to a common understanding with each other. That's never easy, especially when you're coming from two different worlds. Even if you're not coming from two different worlds, you're still two different, imperfect human beings. So, regardless, something you have to work at. And it's all about teamwork, all about teamwork and respect. Respect is important. It's amazing when a man loves a woman, he's willing to give his all for her. And when a woman feels that, she's willing to give all the respect that you want. If vice versa, it works together. A man gives the love. Even a woman gives the love. But when a woman feels that she's being loved by the person, the man that loves her, or the person that loves her, um, they feel that. It's amazing how love can tell many things, especially when you put it into action. You're able to feel those things. And when you feel that love, that woman is willing to give every respect that you want in a good way, not a bad way, not in a domineering way, but in a loving way, in a respectful way. And forgiveness. Forgiveness is very important because there are going to be times where each other are going to be upset with each other, or maybe not agree with something, or be disappointed in something, or get angry. But how to deal with it. Forgiveness. How to forgive when someone has done something. Forgiveness is very important. It shows that you're willing to give your all to make a relationship really work, a marriage, or even if you're not married yet, you're willing to make things work. And there's, like I said, there's going to be times that you're going to disagree, you're going to be upset, you're going to be angry, you're going to be disappointed, or This is where you got to communicate. This is where you got to try to understand each other. This is where you got to put your time and your effort into talking. Really understanding so you can forgive that person. Because maybe they did something wrong. Maybe they hurt your feelings. Maybe they did something they shouldn't have done. Sadly, like I said, most marriages land up in divorce because they committed adultery, fornicate. I mean, no, it would be adultery. But if you're not married, it's fornication. They committed those things and they feel guilty because they knew they loved you. But have they messed up? Yeah, they did. They messed up. But are you willing to forgive them? That's the hard part, especially when it comes to the adultery. Are you willing to forgive? Me personally, I can forgive once, but if it continues to keep going and going and going and going, I can't do it. How many times can you do the same thing over and over and over again? And that person keeps on forgiving you. I don't know if I can forgive once, but it's always in the back of my mind. Can I trust this person? I don't know if I can still continue to trust this person. It's always in the back of your mind. It's always stuck there. But forgiveness is important. Like if you spent money on something and you were supposed to budget money out or something, and you touch that money and you put it on something that the other spouse, the other, if it's not a spouse, the other person said, no, you don't want to do that. Don't do that. But they did it anyways. And they felt, it was on their conscience. So they told you about it. You were angry for a moment. But then you thought about it. It was like, well, you're willing to forgive that person. But you just have to learn other ways to hide money. Try to, budget your money and try to put it somewhere where no one can find it except for yourself. And like I said, communication. Communication is always key in all things. Communication. Communication tells a lot. Because when you communicate, you're expressing yourself. You're letting out your feelings. You're letting that person understand you, understand where you're coming from. But then you got to understand that other person too, where they're coming from, understand them, and then come to a common understanding together. So communication is always key to all things. That's what I always tell, like, everybody. Communication is key. Always, always, always. So just remember that. Those those are the main things when it comes to um, relationships and how to keep it strong, keep it healthy, keep it going. Love. Love is important. Love is very important. Number one is commitment. Two is teamwork. Three is respect. Four is forgiveness. And five is communication. With those tips, If you follow through with those, see if they work. But sometimes you have to, especially if you're a temperamental person, like you get angry fast, you have to learn to calm yourself down before you work on those. Work on those tips because um, you have to be relaxed and mild tempered. That means not angry, not fierce, not going off the rampage, but you're mellow and you're willing to sit there and listen. You're willing to sit there, teamwork with that person. You're willing to do all you can to keep your relationship alive, to keep your relationship going. There's many sorts of relationships. There's marriage, there's long distance relationships, which eventually would come closer, come closer, come closer. And there are many other different relationships. So these are things that you have to think about um, when it comes to relationships. And also, you have to think about before you think about marriage or you think about committing to this person, things like that. You have to think, is this the person for me? What am I looking for in a person? What kind of person are they? What are their personality traits? What are their goals? What is what is everything that they want to do in life? Like maybe they have a religious goal or they have other goals in life that they want to accomplish, but they want to involve you in it. You know what I'm saying? Do you want a family? Do you want so many things? Some people don't want families. Some people eventually want families. Some people can't have families. What I'm saying? So really think about the kind of person, you want to have a relationship with. And just think about the 5 tips that we talked about, which were commitment, teamwork, respect, forgiveness, and communication. Those are the main tips that help, that are very effective in relationships to keep it alive, to keep it going, to keep it thriving. Of course, there's other parts in it too, if you know what I mean. Like, you know, intimacy and all that other stuff. If you want a family and all that other things that you want to bring into the marriage or into the commitment later. Or sadly, some people already have families before they're committed to someone else. Because when you're young, your body is kicking, their body's kicking, it's wanting, and you don't think about it at the time, but you're just thinking about it feels good. Not realizing 9 months later there's a baby. And you got to think about those things because now you're stuck in you know, you can still love your children and still love your mate. You just have 2 different kinds of love. because you might have to still be involved in the other woman's life or the other man's life. That means just to have the kids or something like that. Nothing else. Same with the man. But when it comes to the other woman, that's the woman you love. That's the person that you committed yourself to. Person that you want to spend your life with. For real. So just think about those things. I hope I hope that you liked this video, and I hope it gave you some good insight on relationships, and also like the 5 steps that we talked about, and what you want in a person before you even commit to them and all this. Those are the things that you need to know, and hopefully that you took some, you got some information from this video, and if it helped you any, please just give me a hit thumbs up and um, subscribe. Help me out, man. Adios. Adios.